Hi, I'm Kylie Ross Seibert, and I'm here with Abby Shiano from Retail Alliance, and we're bringing to you today the Retail Is podcast with our special guest from Country Hydration. But first, let me just say thank you to our sponsor for today, which is The Shopper. Since 1981, The Shopper has been the voice of ethical entrepreneurs who treat customers as neighbours. They strive to be more than just an advertising vehicle for the businesses in our community. Their focus is on neighbours doing business with neighbours, a concept just as important today as when hometown businesses began on Main Street. Learn more by heading to theshopper.com. Today, we are joined by Megan Rigg from Country Hydration, here I am losing it. So with Kimberly Beecham, was Kim, actually, she said that we could call her. So welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us. We're super excited.
And Abby, you want to say hello?
Yes, hi. So just to get started, could you guys tell us a little bit about your business, where you're located, how long you've been open, just the generals?
Yeah. So Crunchy Hydration officially launched to the consumers October of 2019. So we had the concept before that, but some of our SKUs have CBD. So anyways, all of the hurdles aside, we launched October of 2019 and got up and running right before COVID. And here we are today, not just surviving, but thriving. And we're based in Virginia Beach, Virginia. We don't have a physical location. It's a lot of just distribution, and then we co-pack locally.
Awesome. So, I mean, with everything shutting down and you putting your products and distributing it to other people who obviously then sell it, what happened during COVID? Because if everything shut down, who was selling Crunchy Hydration?
It was definitely a time to kind of collect ourselves. We were still so new. We launched to the consumer in October 2019, and then March 2020 is when everything closed down. So just a few months under our belt. Very fortunate though. Our brand Crunchy Hydration is all about mindfulness. And so when things started to close down, we did a lot of giveaways and partnerships with people who are already selling us, the local restaurants and marketplaces, and we're able to spread word about Crunchy that way, but just give back to people. It was definitely a blessing of the Virginia Beach and just the Hampton Roads area in general. Business owners work together. And so people reaching out to sell the product, they love to support local.
Mm-hmm. Oh, especially during that time, yeah, for sure. So I suppose let's go back a step. I love how you call it Crunchy, by the way. Just like, tell us about the actual product and how it came to be.
Yeah. So Crunchy originated with the cold pressed juice business, Crunchy Carrot. So Kim and I, we've known each other forever, middle school, high school, went to UVA together. And then I'll just give you the whole background.
That's what I want to know. Yeah.
Yeah. So we went our separate ways. I moved out to Los Angeles. I was working for a global training company, doing a lot of training, translation projects, but started to develop really bad anxiety and bouts of depression. Ended up moving to Thailand really to just kind of figure it out. You could call it a quarter life crisis, but that's where I got into yoga, holistic living, juices, and moved back to the area 2017 and started the juice business. And that was literally like Crunchy because I didn't have a great juicer at first. So there was pulp in it, and then it just evolved into a lifestyle of living with intention, and Crunchy being like a fun, cool term for people that are, coming together to care about not just themselves and their bodies, but others and the community.
Okay. So what is, I know there's probably special ingredients, but what is it made up of?
So every SKU is actually a different set of ingredients. We originally started out with 2 SKUs, the Calm and the Energize, and that developed into the Elevate and Ohm as well. At that point, they were very similar and just CBD added to the new SKUs. When other thing we were able to do is take time to rebrand our products in a better direction. So now our different flavors are based on the 7 chakras. So each has a set of herbs that's meant for a unique need that we face mentally. So for example, our stabilize is the root chakra. It has a raspberry flavor, the red coloring of the root chakra, but then it brings in dandelion root and licorice root. It's all about detoxing the body so that you can kind of ground into your identity, and each of them does that along the way. I'll let Megan talk about L-theanine, which is in every beverage. It's her favorite.
Kim giggles every time because farmers markets or any event or anytime we're talking about it, outside of the amazing adaptogens, that are in each blend for the chakra, every single can has 200 milligrams of L-theanine, which is an amazing nootropic. There's a lot of clinical trials on it, but it increases your alpha wavelengths. So it takes you almost immediately out of that state of fight or flight and helps you relax, but also think more clearly. So it's going to help with stress, anxiety, cognitive function. And yeah, I feel like that needs to be in our water system. So that's been one of the number one things that's really helped both of us. And I think that's what people are definitely immediately going to feel when they drink it, is just that sense of relief. And it was cool that COVID allowed us to take that time to slow down. So when it first hit, I think Kim spent probably 2 months diving into reading a number of different books and this Wheel of Life talking about the chakras, and it gave us time to put even more intention behind the brand and rebrand. So if you can see in this can, our logo has elements of all 7 chakras into our the crunchy chakra. So COVID, it was tough, and we feel like we hit every challenge and hurdle and learned a lot, but it was a blessing because we were able to just launch a rebranded product with even more intention.
Yeah. So I'm always interested, especially locally here in Hampton Roads. You obviously wanted to can it and label it and all that sort of stuff. How did you even know where to get started, and who helped you find your way?
So originally with the juices, we were selling those, the Lavender Rose lemonade, to Back-Based Farmhouse. And they had just built their production facility, and, they weren't tapped out at that production facility. So they were like, why don't you guys use this space to create something that's more shelf stable? Because with the juices, you're going to the local farms and you're making it every day. So we got to be, mad scientist. Kim's a chemical engineer. So we were just mad scientisting around Farmhouse, and had the ability to play around and do sample batches and have that flexibility without, starting with a national co-packer where you have to produce by the truckload. So it was another blessing. And now we produce at St. George Brewery in Hampton. So they co-pack for us, and it's a really awesome relationship.
Yeah, that is good. I didn't realize, I wonder then if that's like a new business concept, for just to have someone who just does it for everyone, rather than having to go to a specific brewer or someone who's just doing it for themselves. Yeah, but anyway, that's a different story. So,
You said that the flavors align with all the different chakras, right? If I said that correctly.
Yeah. So
does that mean there'll never be a new flavor? Because if there's 7, they're not going to discover an 8th chakra.
Yeah.
So
never know.
have you guys thought about that?
Yeah. So our idea is we'll have signature SKUs that are year round, that we're always producing and that are always available, and they follow the 7 chakras. And so we have 6 of those complete. We have our Stabilize, Awaken, our Elevate, Energize, Calm, and Om. We have a 7th one coming out this summer. It'll be the Bliss. It's a lavender flavor. It'll be for the crown chakra. So it'll be a higher concentration of CBD and kind of a standalone in those 7. But then as we go, we've also done partnerships in the past with different organizations and done a specialty drink for something in the water when that event occurred. We've done one with a local run club, North End Run Club, the Recover. And so we'll be able to do, especially if we continue, even as we scale that relationship with a smaller local brewery, we'll be able to do event specific or even seasonal specific. We have a cheer blend that's only available in the winter that's focused on immunity, and we'll be able to kind of rotate out seasonal blends as well.
Right. Yeah, I've seen there's quite a lot of I suppose more like breweries and so on, but yeah, coming out with things specific. But have you ever thought of doing something that's got alcohol in it?
So the R&D side of the crunchy cocktails are happening. We decided to focus our attention on just trying to get all of the SKUs out, because it's just so much. You want to put a lot of intention and do tons of different sample batches and test it with the community and work with your flavor house, making sure that the alkalinity is good, the Himalayan salt. So it was a lot of focus on making sure we had all of the signature SKUs, but the crunchy cocktails will definitely be a higher end tequila based RTD that's, made with fresh fruit, low sugar, because it'll have monk fruit in it. So stay tuned.
Yeah. That sounds
Still
cool.
just the two of us that are like official Crunchy employees. And so having, multiple product streams is a little balance when it's just two of you. And then the idea as well behind Crunchy Hydration, what kind of sets it apart from other beverages, is we don't just want to be doing products. We want to be a service as well. And so we're working toward a lifestyle brand where everyone who hears Crunchy knows what that means, knows that it's about mindfulness. So if you were to go to our Instagram right now, we're doing a campaign for the month of May as Mental Health Awareness Month. And so we've been pairing our different drinks in line with the chakras, with yoga poses and breathing techniques and different foods, and carrying it and giving people ways to just simply change daily routines in a way that makes them think about how they feel and who they are.
Yeah. I mean, and there's also lots of local businesses, I'm sure, who would love to, partner with you,
Mm-hmm.
who do sort of also have that same, mind body, connection. So I mean, there's opportunity for sure. I still go back to the fact that how do you find a flavor person and people to try your stuff, and what if it goes horribly wrong? I mean, how do you to get to where you are? I mean, there's been a lot of, I'm sure, like, blood, sweat and tears, but how do you find the right people to work with?
Well, Kim can tell you about the first two flavors.
They were raspberry and black raspberry. And I would like to state that was before I started working with Megan.
So how do we figure it all out? I mean, originally at first, like I said, we hit every challenge, every hurdle, and it allowed us to just learn how to be flexible, and you just figure it out. So it was, the flavor house we met at our very first beverage conference, and we met our business coach, who's been really helpful and connected us to other brands in the industry. And it just, I tell everyone that, we went to ODU and we're speaking with an entrepreneur class there. And I'm like, just put it out there. Just tell people what you need. Tell people what you're looking for. Tell people what you want to do in this world. And I guarantee you that someone here locally will help you. Like, it's just, if you speak it into existence, there's so many people in Hampton Roads that just want to help and connect. And that's been our biggest thing. Like, we say it, and then there's 3 different signs kind of that happen. And we're like, all right, I guess we're going that route.
And also, like, we took kind of committed to ourselves and to each other in February that, like, for the next season, as we're like heading into growth and scaling, we'll just say yes to meetings. Like, we're going to say yes to meeting people, to going to conferences, just to get more connections, because you never know, even if that specific person isn't going to be with your business, they'll introduce you to 3 more. And so, like, every person that you're willing to talk to and share your vision with is going to be able to help your story in some way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's and even if they can't, they'll be like, get asked by someone, say, oh, hang on a second, I remember those girls we met.
The
So,
crunchy girls.
In terms of giving back to your community, I noticed on your website you guys provide Berkey water filters, and I just want to know if you could tell us more about that, because that was interesting.
Yeah. So the intention behind, when the juice first started, and then launching Crunchy and really wanting to just focus on giving back, the biggest issue I saw was with water. being in Thailand, it was just coming back to the United States. I was like, oh, I can drink the water. So the Berkey water systems are the most sustainable. It's just a gravity filter, gets all of the bad contaminants out, keeps the good minerals in. We haven't officially launched anything with that. COVID kind of slowed down a lot of our plans. So we've been focusing more on just hyper local giving back. So doing different things with the school systems in regards to mindfulness, nutrition, donating what we can. So we'll definitely be revisiting how we can, truly make a difference other than just locally.
Yeah. So is the Berkey something that you came across, or I mean, you don't have like an investment in it or anything? This is just a product that you saw that you thought would.
I'm not a sales rep. I just I got everyone in my family hooked on them. It's just the most sustainable way and to have clean water for life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, we're very fortunate. I know I lived in Shanghai and I accidentally drank the water out of the tap one day and I started freaking out thinking I was going to get some sort of disease or something. But yeah, it's just so different when you live and visit overseas. We're so lucky. So, yeah. So I also have a question. Like, I love my sister dearly, but when we lived together, we ended up hating each other for a while. How did you stay friends and work together and end up being successful at building a relationship?
It's really funny you mentioned living together. When we went to university together, we had gone through from 8th grade to senior year, we had all but one class together. And so when we both got into UVA and decided to go there, I told her that we shouldn't live together, that we had enough time together. We didn't need to ruin a good thing. And I think it was a good decision, but since we've known each other so long, we know each other's family and history and stories. And so even when we have those, push points where we're butting heads, we know where it comes from and we know each other and that we're best friends. So we know that we'll work through it.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it's like even with best friends, it's like there has to be a line drawn of how far you can go to still keep it like professional and not make it too personal. Because I'm sure you've got to respect each other's opinions and, not always agree on everything. But
and it's definitely, there's been times where, say I'm going through something for a few months and Kim knows all of the personal side, but she can see that I'm maybe not doing everything I should on the business side, but she's like, I love you so much on the personal side. I don't want to tell you, you need to step up your work game. So there's definitely that fine balance of having grace and being able to know the person, but also communicating to make the other person grow and be the best version of themselves.
Yeah. Gosh. I for your next step, I mean, obviously with the two of you, there always comes a point, I think, with any business that it's the tipping point. Like, when do you expand to get another person or get a storefront or whatever it is? Where do you think and when do you think that might happen? And is that your goal?
I would say, Kim, you can confirm or deny this. I would say we're at that point. Like, we're at the tipping point where we've proven proof of concept. It has truly saturated the local market, a lot of Virginia, entering into new states in the Mid-Atlantic. And we were totally like, okay, we have to get some help. So we've been working with a consulting firm, looking at making our first hire this summer. Kim and I finally offloaded to our farmers market girls that are amazing. They've started making deliveries and packaging up shipments for us. But we were carrying hundreds of cases out of our car every week. And
I did like a basic calculation for a year-end review. And I think between the two of us, we delivered personally 3,000 cases of Crunchy from our personal cars last year.
How much is in a case?
24 cans.
24 cans.
Wow.
3,000 cases times 20 pounds.
24.
That's 60,000 pounds of Crunchy.
It's crazy. Yeah. That's a lot of miles too.
Yeah. So we are at that tipping point, and it's been so amazing through the February goal of making connections, how we've just been connected with the right people that are going to help us take it to the next step and gain more distributors, and really just allow us to sit back and do what we're good at, instead of, sweating bullets every day. And then you're just so physically exhausted that it's hard to dive into actually growing the business.
Yeah. I mean, they always say it's so hard, but with business owners, you've got to work on your business, not always in the business.
Yeah.
Because it just takes just as much to make, it's the business planning, it's the forward thinking, what's the next step.
I need to write that down. That was a good one.
Question then. So are you only working with local businesses, or are you trying to get into like national supermarkets and things like that as well?
So we launched in Whole Foods, and that was just taken over by a distributor who's going to fulfill all of the Whole Foods as we grow through the Mid-Atlantic. And then we'll scale into the Northeast Whole Foods, and then hopefully the South region as well. And we also we went to the Virginia Food and Beverage Conference in Richmond, and through there we had amazing connections. So we met the entire team from Kroger. So we're supposed to have a call with them tomorrow. Some grocery stores in Texas reached out. So we'll definitely start expanding through more mainstream grocery stores in the Mid-Atlantic to start, and do a pilot phase, and probably move forward with the Texas grocery stores, and then see where it goes nationally from there.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like a great opportunity. Gosh. So, I mean, and it sounds like making connections, like even at these conferences, has been very beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
What are the major ones that people should go to if they're doing this sort of thing? Because you said the National Food and Beverage.
So we went to the Kim, that's what it's called, right? The Virginia Food and Beverage Expo.
Virginia.
So that's in Richmond every year, and hosted by Department of Agriculture. And that was incredible. I mean, we had never heard of it. I guess it wasn't happening because of COVID, but most trade shows, you're going to spend upwards of $10 to $20 to $30,000. And this was just so inexpensive. And it was just, I mean, we came out of there with probably 5 new accounts, amazing grocery store connections. So any local Hampton Roads business, I would say you should definitely go to that.
And that's a statewide one. Okay.
Yeah. And then there's really good for consumer packaged goods, the Expo East, Expo West, the natural food product show, the beverage conference, BevNet has been awesome. That's twice a year.
Okay. So is there, with CBD, and just, I suppose, the booming industry, and the possibility of, the other side to CBD, are you keeping an eye on that, and where the industry is heading?
Definitely. And, we're actually going to be launching crunchy CBD tincture soon. So we're obviously started with CBD, the beverages. We would like to have more concentrated forms to offer people. Like Kim mentioned, the Bliss, which is our 7th one, the lavender lemon, that'll have even more, probably 3 times the amount of CBD that our current beverages have. Mm-hmm. So we would like to offer a variety of options for people. And I know that it's, the market is ever changing and growing. And I think it's really important to stay on top of just the laws, regulations, making sure you're working with as local as possible so that you can oversee the process, make sure you're getting all the testing done. Because the CBD was like the wild, wild west at first when we first started. I mean, and it was just generally there was not a lot of knowledge and information out there. So for us, when we first started, we had our QuickBooks shut down because we had CBD products, our website, payment processing, like it's so much better now, but.
Yeah, we've had a number of our member, retailers who are involved in CBD. Yeah, especially the payment processing. It's like, it's CBD. I mean, learn, people. Like,
Good for you.
I know we're close to time, Abby. Is there anything you wanted to ask?
No, everything got covered very organically. I was about to ask a question and then they answered it. It was lovely. It's like they read my mind.
Yeah, and I was going to say I didn't even refer to any of the questions that we'd written down. So that's great. Is there anything else you wanted to share?
No, just stay tuned. Follow us on Instagram if you want to see what we're doing for Mental Health Awareness Month. We have a couple fun events coming up, but yeah, we're just grateful for this opportunity. Thank you guys.
Yeah, and so it's Crunchy Hydration is what they can follow.
Yep, just at Crunchy Hydration.
Okay, and your website is crunchyhydration.com?
Yep.
Is that okay? Yep.
Keeping it simple.
Which is awesome. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us today. And you've been listening to the Retailers Podcast. And if you've enjoyed what you've heard, you can find more at retailalliance.com/retail-is-podcast or search YouTube for Retail Alliance. I'm Kylie Ross Seibert.
And I'm Abby Shiano.
And thanks for listening.